Am I the asshole for refusing to help my sister after she borrowed my inheritance and told the family I was selfish for wanting it back? Throwaway because my family uses Reddit. This is long, but there's a lot of history and I genuinely need perspective. I'm 33F. My sister Emily is 36F. We grew up middle class. Our parents weren't wealthy, but they were careful and always stressed responsibility and education. Emily was outgoing, social, and impulsive. I was quiet, anxious, and did well in school. That difference shaped everything. Emily struggled academically. Tutors, summer school, extra chances. I didn't need much help, so I didn't get much either. At the time, I understood it as fairness. She needed more support, so she got it. I didn't resent it growing up. But the pattern followed us into adulthood. Emily married at 23 to a guy who never held a job long. My parents paid for part of the wedding. When they bought a house they couldn't afford, my parents helped with the down payment. When Emily quit working after getting pregnant, my parents paid utilities and groceries. Every crisis had a justification, and every temporary fix became permanent. I moved out at 18, worked through college, took loans, and built my life independently. I'm not wealthy, but I'm stable. I budget. I rent a small apartment. I thought our family dynamic was fine, even if unequal. Then my dad died unexpectedly. A year later, my mom died of cancer. Losing them back to back changed everything. After everything was settled, Emily and I each received about $120,000. Not life-changing, but meaningful. My parents had always been clear it would be split evenly. I paid off my student loans and put the rest into savings and investments. Emily burned through hers quickly. Within a year, her husband lost his job again. They were behind on the mortgage and drowning in credit card debt. She called me sobbing, saying they were about to lose the house. I didn't immediately agree to help. I asked questions. I asked for numbers. I asked what the long-term plan was. She said they just needed time to stabilize. After weeks of emotional pressure, I agreed to loan her $30,000. Not give. Loan. We wrote up a basic agreement. No interest, flexible repayment. She promised she'd start paying me back once her husband found steady work. He never did. 6 months later, she asked for another $20,000. I said no. I reminded her she hadn't paid back anything. She was angry but dropped it. A year later, she asked again. This time, she said, "You have the money just sitting there. We actually need it." I said no again. She told me family doesn't keep score. That was when things started to go bad. I started hearing from relatives that Emily was telling people I'd hoarded my inheritance, that I didn't care about her kids, that our parents would be ashamed of me. An aunt asked how I could live with myself knowing my niece and nephew were struggling. I was grieving my parents and suddenly being cast as selfish and greedy. Then Emily's husband left. He didn't just leave the marriage, he left the state. No child support. She lost the house and moved in with my aunt. Emily called and asked if she and the kids could move in with me for a few months. I live in a one-bedroom and work from home. It wasn't feasible. I offered to help with a deposit or a couple months of rent instead. She said that wasn't enough. She said if I cared, I'd make space. I said no. A few weeks later, my aunt called screaming at me. Emily had told her I manipulated our parents into giving me more inheritance, that I promised help and backed out. None of it was true. When I confronted Emily, she admitted she'd simplified the story because people wouldn't understand otherwise. That's when I told her I was done providing financial help and that the $30,000 was still a loan. Emily accused me of kicking her while she was down. She said I cared more about money than people. She told me our parents would be ashamed. She said I wasn't welcome around her kids anymore. After that, I pulled back. I stopped going to family events. I stopped responding to guilt-tripping messages. I needed distance. This year, Emily got engaged to a new guy after about 8 months. He has 3 kids and a low-paying job. They're planning a wedding they can't afford. I found out through social media she's pregnant again. Last month, she reached out saying she wanted to reset our relationship. She apologized vaguely and said she missed me. Then she asked if I could temporarily give her the rest of my inheritance for a house down payment. She said it was only fair since I already had stability. I said no, calmly. She exploded. She said I was selfish, punishing her for being less fortunate, choosing money over family. She said if something happened to her kids, it would be on my conscience. I told her our parents gave us equal chances and I was done being her safety net. Now the family is split. Some say I'm technically right but morally wrong. That money shouldn't matter compared to family. Others think Emily has burned too many bridges. I feel guilty sometimes. I think about my parents. I think about the kids. I wonder if I could do more. But I'm exhausted. I feel like my adulthood has revolved around how much I can give without ruining myself. And when I finally stop, I'm the villain. So am I the asshole for refusing to help my sister anymore and still expecting my loan to count as a loan?